When it comes to getting aesthetic physique, there's just so much contradictory information on the internet, like train this muscle group or train that muscle group, do this exercise or that. But the truth is, getting aesthetic is a lot more simpler than you think. What if I tell you that just these few muscles are enough to take you 90% of the way to getting a Greek god physique? So that's exactly what I'm going to tell you in this video. First of all, the most important muscle that changes how much people perceive you to be aesthetic the most. And that is the neck muscles, not the traps, but actually your neck muscles, which include the sternocleidomastoid and the splenius muscles at the back of the neck. So how do you develop them and get yoked up? You can do lying neck curls to thicken the sternocleidomastoid, which will make your neck the thick look from the front. You should do it with a hat so the weight doesn't leave ridges on your head. While doing them, remember that you are doing neck, not arms, lats or abs. Use your arms or handlebars to merely hold the weight, but the weight needs to be moved mostly by the neck. If you feel it working in your abs to a large while the neck is not pumped, then the weight is too heavy and you need to drop it a bit. For beginners, I recommend use 5 pounds plate. The choice to do a fast or slow tempo is yours, and around the 25 to 30 is a good rep range to aim at focus on milking higher volume in this. Now for the back of the neck, you should do lying neck extensions, and you can use heavier weight here as the extensor muscles are bigger and stronger in general. This can even work your upper traps and upper back to a large extent. Progression is pretty much the same as neck curls. Start with 5 pounds, then move on to 10, 15, 20 pounds, and so on. You can do 3 sets for 20 to 30 reps like neck curls. At a certain point, neck training with plates becomes impossible, so people usually use harness, but that's usually for advanced levels. But if you want to know more about it, I'll make a video about it in the future. Just let me know in the comments. Anyhow, next we have our forearms. And yes, they are neglected a lot and usually lag behind for most people. I know they are boring, and usually we leave it for the end of the workout, but they are important for aesthetics because they're a very visible muscle for most of the time, and it even makes your arms look big. And of course, I'm not saying don't train upper arms too. It's better than getting a Popeye physique, but they're just not as high on the priority list. So for forearms, don't overcomplicate, just do some hammer curls. So your brachia radialis develops well and give you the juicy forearm look, and some reverse curls or wrist curls and extensions, depending on your choice for the main forearm workout. You can aim for 3 sets of 8 to 20 reps, which usually works best for forearms. Repeat this for forearm extensions too. Even though forearms may be a bit boring, but just squeeze out some extra 10 minutes for them, it goes a long way. With these two alone, you are 50% of the way through, as these are the two most lagging behind parts in people's physiques. But the next few muscles cannot be ignored either, or the aesthetic balance will fall off completely. Now, we can't really talk about aesthetics without mentioning back, and especially lats, because without that, you can't have the V-taper physique to complement your aesthetics. So make sure to lock in on either of these two exercises, pull-ups or lat pull-downs. Doesn't matter which one you do, just focus on getting that pump into the lats and prioritize getting a thicker back. And especially the upper back, I do recommend you to do pull-ups as you can't really ever max them out. And you can even get to weighted pull-ups and muscle-ups. You should try 3 sets for 6 to 15 for lat pull-downs and aim for up to 12 to 20 reps for pull-ups before increasing difficulty. The rep combo just goes a long way. You can even go for 5 sets if lats are lagging behind, namely your traps, rhomboids, and to some extent, lats and rear delts. Since upper back isn't really all that complicated, all you need to remember is that you don't need a lot of variety with this. Training your lats with pull-ups, for example, already helps develop your upper back, but you can throw in some isolation with it to sweeten the deal, so you could do power shrugs, which give you insane pump on traps. You could even add in some rows, and you can do them with barbell, dumbbells, or even cables. All this will aid you into building a thick aesthetic back. From my experience, you can go higher reps, up to 15 plus on both of these exercises, and you can get a killer pump, though I recommend 1 arm dumbbell variations since you can hone in on imbalances. So far very simple and obvious, but there's one muscle which you wouldn't expect to be in the list, but without it, your physique just look unbalanced, and that is your upper chest. Because you see, when it is undeveloped, you just get this strange saggy chest look, which doesn't really look visually appealing. And chances are your upper chest may also be lagging behind too, but an easy adjustment can be made. Just add some incline presses to your routine, and maybe even prioritize that for a few weeks until the imbalance is reduced. Because trust me, once both pecs are balanced, you will have this full chest look which will make everyone envious. I recommend DB incline presses since they're just more flexible for lagging muscles and imbalances, and you can aim for 15 to 20 reps for them even. Though, even if you do cable or barbell, it's still fine. In fact, I recommend that you experiment as much as possible and do what you feel is best. However, we have to give some love to the lower body too. And yeah, I know they are boring and all, but hear me out. Glutes need to be trained. They are not only the biggest muscle group in the body, but them being underdeveloped give you the chicken legs. Look, imaging being built like a tank, but being supported by chopsticks, that wouldn't be very aesthetic, so don't skip glutes especially. For your dumpy, you can try RDLS and Bulgarian split squats. They are brutal and will make you wish rest day was today, but it will be all worth it as you get a balanced physique, and no matter how big your quads are, they'll be limited if your glutes are lacking. For these, I recommend you to go for anywhere from 2 to 3 sets for 8 to 12 reps, and at least minimum 2 times a week they should be trained. And now lastly, the moment you were waiting for, shoulders. You probably expected them to be way higher in the list and might be thinking why I called them useless in the thumbnail, but worry not. They aren't fully useless. It just depends what part of your shoulder you talk about. If it's front delt, then they are already overdeveloped for most PPL from the pressing exercises they do. And if your side and rear delts are lagging behind you, just get hunched over shoulders and bad posture, which doesn't look attractive at all. But you can focus on rear and side delts if they're lagging behind. For most people, their rear delts are undeveloped and should do more pulling than pushing, and especially isolation work such as face pulls, flies, etc. And for side delts, lateral raises should be done. Even though I already have made a video on how to get aesthetic shoulders, I'll still give you an overview here. For both heads, rear and lateral, do 3 to 5 sets for 15 to 20 reps 2 times a week, and try 5 sets for lagging muscles. So now you know how to be as aesthetic as a Greek god, and you know the exact framework needed to get there, and achieving it should no longer be a problem for you now. Anyhow, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.